All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to map out a full-blown strategy for building wealth from literally nothing, and we're tailoring it for what the world looks like in 2026. This isn't some get-rich-quick nonsense. It's a clear, step-by-step path based on math. So seriously, just imagine this for a second. The calendar flips to 2026. You check your accounts, and there's nothing there. No savings, no investments, maybe you even owe some money. And all you hear about is crazy inflation and AI taking over. So what's the plan? What's your first move? Well, for most people, the answer is nothing. They just freeze. But here's a different way to look at it, and this is really important. Starting from zero right now isn't the disaster you think it is. In fact, you could argue it's an incredible opportunity. It's a clean slate, a fresh start, if you know exactly what to do next. Okay, so phase one has nothing to do with picking hot stocks. Nope. Before we can even think about building, we have to deal with the one thing that will sink you before you even leave the shore: high-interest debt. Think of it like this invisible anchor just weighing you down.
And this gets us to something called the negative compounding trap. It's really simple when you break it down. If you have credit card debt that's growing at, say, 25% a year, it's working against you faster than you can possibly work for yourself. It is literally like trying to paddle a canoe upstream in a raging river. You're just not going to win.
I mean, just look at this comparison. It makes it so clear. The myth is that you can be a genius investor and somehow make more than your debt is costing you. But the math is undefeated. When you pay off a credit card that's charging you 24%, you are giving yourself a guaranteed, tax-free, totally risk-free 24% return on your money. Tell me, where else on earth can you find a deal like that? You can't.
And you know, the cost isn't just about the numbers. It's psychological. It's so much deeper. Debt traps you in this scarcity mindset. It makes you afraid to ask for that raise you deserve. It makes you too scared to quit a job you hate to start something new. The real cost of debt is the life you're not living because you're too afraid to make a move.
So how do you fight back? You need a system, a battle plan. And the avalanche method is the sharpest weapon you have. You just list out all your debts, not by size, but by interest rate, highest to lowest. You make the minimum payments on everything except that one at the very top. You throw every single extra penny you have at that monster until it's dead. Then you move to the next one. It's brutal, it's focused, and it works.
All right, so you've slain the debt monster. The temptation now is to take all that extra cash and just dive headfirst into the stock market, right? Wrong. We're not there yet. There is a super critical step in between. We have to build a fortress. And this isn't about getting rich. It's about making sure you never end up back at zero again.
This is a massive mindset shift you have to make. Early on in your journey, cash is not an investment. It's not losing to inflation. It's insurance. It's insurance against life's curveballs, your car breaking down, a surprise medical bill, and maybe even more importantly, it's insurance against your own emotional mistakes.
Let's just play this out. It makes it crystal clear. Imagine the market tanks, and at the exact same time, your roof starts leaking. Investor A has no cash buffer. So what do? They have to sell their stocks when they're down 20%, locking in that loss forever. But investor B? They just dip into their cash fortress to fix the roof and leave their investments completely alone to recover and grow. It's a game changer.
And you know, just like getting out of debt, having this cash buffer, it changes you. It gives you this quiet confidence. You literally walk differently. You go into a salary negotiation with a totally different energy because you're not desperate. You're making decisions from a position of strength, not fear.
Okay, the decks are clear. The fortress is built. Now and only now are we ready to light the fuse and start the growth engine. This is where we finally start to invest. But before you run off and try to pick the next Tesla, you have to look at this chart. You have to internalize this data. Over a 15-year period, more than 90% of professional fund managers, people who do this for a living with teams of analysts, fail to simply match the market average. The odds are just so stacked against you.
So this leads us to a really simple but powerful idea. Your job isn't to find the single magic needle in the haystack. Your job is to just buy the whole haystack. When you buy a simple, low-cost index fund, you own a tiny piece of hundreds of the biggest companies. You're guaranteed to get the market's average return. And over time, that's how real wealth is built.
But let's be honest, buying index funds is, well, it's kind of boring, right? And that's where this core satellite approach comes in. It's brilliant. 90% of your money goes into that boring, reliable index fund core. That's your foundation. The other 10%? That's your satellite. That's your fun money, your permission to go speculate on a stock or some crypto if you really want to. It lets you scratch that itch without betting the farm. All right, now we're going to talk about the one thing that almost everybody gets wrong, but that can literally be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Remember, it's not just about what you make, it's about what you keep. It's time to build a tax shield.
Okay, so let's say you do everything right. You invest your money and it grows by $90,000. Awesome. But if that money is just sitting in a regular taxable brokerage account, guess what? When you go to sell, you could be handing over 18 grand or even more straight to the tax man. It's a huge leak in your bucket.
Now watch this. Same $90,000 in gains, same exact investments, but instead of a taxable account, you put it inside a Roth IRA. What's the tax bill now? A big fat zero. Nothing. Zilch. You keep every single dollar. This isn't about being a better investor, it's about using the right tools for the job.
And the order you do this in matters a lot. This is the waterfall method. It's your order of operations. First, you put money into your 401k, but only up to the employer match. That's free money, you have to take it. Then, you max out that beautiful tax-free Roth IRA. Then an HSA if you can. You go down the list in order. The taxable account, that's the absolute last place your money should go.
So far, we've covered all the defensive moves: paying down debt, saving, being smart about taxes. But defense alone doesn't win the championship. To really win this game, you have to play offense. And playing offense means one thing: increasing your income. This is the final and by far the most powerful piece of the puzzle.
I mean, think about it like this. There is a hard limit, a floor, on how much you can save. You can only cut your expenses down to zero. You can't budget your way to being rich. But your income, your earning potential, there is absolutely no ceiling on that. None. Saving is about not losing. Earning is about winning.
So here's the truth. The single best investment you will ever make is not in a stock, it's in yourself. Investing in skills that get you a raise at your main job is the ultimate cheat code. A $5,000 salary bump isn't just $5,000, it's $5 grand this year and next year, and it's the foundation for your next race. It compounds for the rest of your life. It's the ultimate wealth accelerator.
So let's put it all together. Here it is, your 5-point playbook. Number 1, kill the high-interest debt for that guaranteed return. 2, build your cash fortress as insurance against life. 3, follow the tax waterfall religiously. 4, put your growth on autopilot with boring index funds. And 5, the big one, relentlessly focus on upgrading your skills to accelerate your income. That's the whole game plan. Look, none of this is sexy. This isn't about day trading or finding the next crypto that's going to the moon. This is a get wealthy for sure plan, not a get rich quick scheme. It's methodical, it's proven, and it works. So the only real question left is, are you ready to play?